Kazan, welcome back to Tom Plays Europa Universalis 4 for absolute beginners. We're back with the Ottomans and gearing up to attack the northeast again, only this time it looks like Kazan has Russia on their side, which would almost make it worth bringing Bohemia in. It's just whether we'll need them for the European war more. I thought we'll probably need them more for Europe, to be fair. So I was just I've just been comparing the military levels and found that Russia was our equal. So I think despite having a disadvantage from not having embraced the latest institution, just going to go for the next level of military power. Upgrade our units with the swivel cannon, and I'm hoping that's going to give us the edge on Russia. Also a little concerned by the size of our armies, so I'm just going to make 3 more cannons. If I forget it, I'm going to make 5 more per army. Let's bring them up to 55 with extra guns. Can be a little risky having your number of guns too close to your number of infantry, because it stops your army having quite as much lasting power. But at the same time, it does make them more powerful for their initial attack. Spain want military access. Well, I would like to keep them on board if possible. Not happy to be their rival at all. And apparently our Russian agent has been discovered. Okay, fair enough. No point keeping the Russian agent going then. Going to instead start improving relations with Bohemia, as we're going to need them. Suddenly discovered that Brandenburg is attacking Hungary, which is very interesting. Could cause a sudden volte-face. No, it won't, because they've still got all of their allies. Fine then. Stick with the plan. If we got enjoining right and forbidding wrong, we've had this before, so we're going to take the legalism one. It's basically very strange, but we've got some of our more legalistic people inciting the populace against the Sufis, I guess. I suppose they're basically the extremists. Kazani tribes. So even though we're actually going against people with a very legalistic interpretation of the Quran themselves, stamping down on them to protect the Sufis still qualifies as a legalistic act. I suppose because we're still in line with the majority of the scholars, is what I'm guessing. But either way, I'm not particularly keen on having anyone in the Empire be oppressed. Certainly I'm not happy to have riots, so that's absolutely fine. Right, what are our best options? If we were to invade Russia, now that's very interesting. Hungary would join in, but nobody else. So that could be a way for us to get our places in Hungary. On the other hand, if we attack Kazan, Uzbek join in, which doesn't really matter, and Russia. So I think we should go with that one. I'm actually going to deal with their separatism problem for them, so I hope they're incredibly grateful. I'm going to attack a couple of the provinces that are near to each other but have castles. Still can't core any of these provinces. which is a problem. You get this this concept called overextension because we haven't called these provinces. It's a bit of an issue. It gives you some negative results, but there doesn't appear to be a huge amount we can do about it right now. So I think we're just going to have to put up with it. I mean, the further we can go into Mamluk territory, we've got two options basically. We can annex Mushasha, which I don't really want to do because they're a decent sized vassal, and I do rather like having vassals, plus the Influence Ideas group gives us benefits to having vassals. Our other option is to try and go so far into the Mamluks so that we circle around and join this land onto ours, which is an option. We do have quite a lot of claims, although I suspect a lot of them are down in Egypt at the moment, and I'd rather finish those claims off before we try and fabricate any of our own. For one thing, I think it'd just be incredibly expensive. Yeah, we need a spy network of 90. So that's not really feasible. Spain is happily marching across our borders, which doesn't in any way make me nervous. I'm not sure why, considering they're at war with France. But at least if they're at war with France, they shouldn't be particularly keen to attack us. Does France have an ally down here? Venice and Holland. Nope, not at all obvious why Spain needs so many armies in our lands. Makes me feel slightly nervous, but never mind. Let us increase speed a bit. Good to see the Kazan army is fighting their own tribes, rather than us having to do it. So what we really need to keep an eye out for is the Russian army, of course. That's the only one that actually poses a threat. Thankfully we now have our swivel cannons, which I'm hoping will give us the technological advantage we need to be able to take on the Russians. You just never know how big their army is going to be. It looks like they've completely wiped out Sweden. Oh no, there's a little bit of Sweden still there in the middle of Denmark. But considering how powerful Sweden is normally at this time in history, that is a little alarming. Okay. So there is the Russian army. Happily march into our lands, not if I can help it. So it looks like they're small enough for me to take them out with just one. Okay, Suleiman, Faraj and the Khaliji people. Ah, got a powerful landowner. Skill 3. Really, I'm not going to be able to afford him even at 50% of the price, so we'll go for local leader. Better development cost for Bahrain. It probably is something we should think about at some point. Siege of Kazan. Darn, they're going to wipe out our vassals. It's definitely not what we wanted. Speaking of, let's head for the Kazan army as well. They're also wiping our vassals out. Now they're going somewhere. Down there, I think. Looks like they're going left. West. Oh, this looks good. Looks like we're going to catch them. Oh, this is a little Russian army. That makes sense. They've separated their armies on this occasion. But it does give us the opportunity to defeat them. Drat. Okay. Managed to get way ahead by changing direction, or possibly I misunderstood where they were going. But never mind. Nothing else, it brings them close to some of our other vassals, so we might get a bit of assistance. Not sure where they're going, but I'll happily wipe them out. I'm hoping they'll get held up at the fort. Right. Just going to try to capture this army. They're clearly trying to avoid us. Take Moskva, and I'll try and crush this army if possible. Excellent. Okay. If we head back up towards Russia. Another Russian army here. Just so many of them. It's partly why I like having vassals, because to some extent they can wipe out the smaller armies without my needing to get involved. If that army actually is small enough, I probably don't need to worry about it, so let's head for another Russian castle. This army appears to be running away for some reason. Oh, Uzbek's bigger than I thought. Interesting. And they're actually an enemy in this war, aren't they? Okay, I guess I'm going to have to take them on. Looks like these separatists are coming to attack us. I'm hoping they won't get a big advantage from the castle, because they're not technically members of the country. So I might actually need to send an army over to take some of Uzbek's lands. I'll be able to chase down that Russian army while I'm at it. So we've got a bunch of small armies here. One that's not quite so small from Uzbek. Right, on the siege of Moskva. Okay, so I'm going to head straight for Novgorod. Apparently it is free monarch points time once again, and we're going to finish humanist ideas with tolerance of heathens, and we have some new policies which may or may not be worth pursuing. Okay, right, well, free monarch points. First of all, so grant monopoly charters, demand diplomatic support, seek support of the clergy, demand administrative support, call a diet, and demand military support. It's all good. We do, in theory, have the option of some new policies as well. So what do we have? The Foreign Aid Act gives us an additional diplomatic relations and more diplomatic reputation. That is good, but it will be more useful when we actually have an extra diplomatic relation, so we'll keep an eye on that. Visionary thinkers. Less we get prestige and we get less prestige decay. I think that is worth an admin point. Okay, so we had local militias. Useful but not that useful. The Preparation Act, land attrition is less, monthly war exhaustion is less. that might be worth it actually. Let's take that one. So we're now going to have one less admin point and one less military point per turn. But on the plus side, we do have some additional advantages. And we also need to keep in mind right, I'll tell you what, I think we have vassals that could finish them off. So I'm not going to worry about them. I'm going to attack this Russian army first. And then probably go for the capital of Uzbek and see if I can get them out of the war. Because of all of the combatants, they're the one I'm least interested in. So I might be willing to give them pretty good terms just to get rid of them. Where are they? Right, so there's Uzbek. I think that's their only actual castle. So Georgia's attacking them in other ways, but let's just make a move on them in terms of getting the castle besieged. Because Georgia may struggle to do that with the size of the army they have. So apart from that, apparently Georgia decided to attack a tiny army with an even tinier army. It's way too late for me to help them. It does look like they might be winning, which is astonishing. Oh no, let's just turn the other way. No, they won! Go Georgia. I thought that was suicidal, but there you go. Clearly I am not up to your level of military skill. Mushasha is doing some excellent work conquering Western Russia. That should help us a fair bit. I mean, Russia is brilliant for having vassals for, because they're happy to split their armies up, which I always find a bit risky, and wander around taking undefended provinces, while I can focus on the castles. Okay, manufactories. It hasn't launched in our country. We're obviously just not developed enough, which is fine. But in theory, what the gain we should have made, we won't see it easily because we haven't embraced global trade yet, but the gain we should have made is that everywhere we had a manufactory built is already starting to embrace it. So you see we have it spread across various bits of the country. The areas up here where we were building manufactories, as soon as they're built, we should find that the manufactories institution starts being developed. Oh dear. Well, can't be helped. Well, disappointed that some other places seem to be getting it much cheaper, unless they've just got way more manufacturers than us. Just wondering where it actually started. Ah, London. Fair enough. That is always an extremely developed city. But by the time we're looking at embracing it, hopefully it won't cost too much. We should be able to get it reasonably soon. Okay, so it looks like I've taken the Uzbeki castle, so what I'm going to do is bring this army back in order to fight some of these Russian armies that are currently ravaging our countryside. Might do the same with this army once that siege ends. Don't really want to let the Russians rampage too much. Actually, this army I'll probably take into Kazan. Try and deal with the armies there. While I'm thinking about it, can we make peace with Uzbek? Yes. It'll even give some land. to no guy, which is great. Okay. So we only need to worry about Kazan and Russia now. Can we get some land from Russia? They give us one piece of land. I'd rather have all three if possible. Looks like we have taken that land. Brilliant. Okay. Let's make a bit of a move on the Russians then. So let's move these Russians down, these armies down here, and we can take our Uzbeki army over here. So I'm honestly not thinking that the Russians can stop us. In fact, the fact that they've got a bunch of little armies in their own land often means they've got to the point where they're hiring mercenaries. Usually means that the computer's getting desperate when that happens. So we probably don't need to worry too much. I imagine we won't have too much of a problem getting a better deal out of Russia. Plus they are currently our rivals, so conquering their lands will probably give us some advantages, give us some extra prestige. About the siege, well, we're not about to take it yet, so maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe I shouldn't be. I can just leave that one to their own devices. I just wish I could get this army to move faster. At least the vassals are doing some work while they're there. Yeah, we're actually taking some Swedish lands from them. So, got another diplomat. Let us improve relations with our vassals for now. Not going to need the Timurids anytime soon. Okay. Merchants Guild. I will accept your rights because I can afford to lose some legitimacy. What I might do is head over and relieve this siege. So it doesn't look like my army is showing as exiled, so they should be able to just attack. I was wondering if they needed to come back into Ottoman land. Yeah. Apparently this army has decided they're not winning that siege and has done a runner. Can't blame them, but I can chase them. We have won the siege of Viborg. Okay, let's take Smolensk. Actually, let's go in order. I was just thinking about freeing up land for the vassals to take, but we're not very close even to Smolensk yet. And it will save time overall. Looks like they're abandoning the siege, which is good. So I'm going to try to capture this enemy instead. So we've got two reasonably sized Russian armies now, but neither is in a position to fight any of our armies, so I'll put one army on each of them, chase them all across the land, while the vassals can hopefully concentrate on taking undefended land. Just working out where they're going is the problem. Oh, they're going here. Brilliant. I've caught one of them, which is not a bad thing. Would it mean we can actually gang up on the other army? Same thing again, extremists attacking Sufis. We're going to stamp down on it. I'm hoping we're actually quite... we're very pious now. Let us start converting another province as a result. armies down. Excellent. That's what I wanted. Is that a Russian castle I see? Let's take that then. And what else? Well, Smolensk, I suppose. Take another one. Vessels are taking Russian land all over. I'm actually wondering if we should go for 100% war score this time. Finnish separatists. Go Finns. Maybe I won't go for 100% war score then, it might be more amusing to leave them with some Finnish separatists to deal with. Honestly, we could probably make peace with Russia now. We're about to take that castle though. Might be worth it though. So we could maybe focus on finishing off Kazan rather than trying to take as much as we can from Russia. After all, Kazan was really the whole point of this particular battle. Then we may end up fighting Russia again anyway, so if I suggest demands with Russia, they will give us, they'll give a couple of cores to Nogai, and they'll give 2 provinces to us. I don't think that's bad, is it? Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay then, in that case, let me move that army back down to there, and move this army over here in case of rebellions in the south, and I'm going to have just this army to conquer the rest of Kazan, because I'm assuming the vassals will help. There's no more castles to worry about, no armies of any size, so I think Kazan should fall relatively quickly. I can leave Russia to deal with the Finnish revolution. Apologies to the Finns for kind of abandoning you to deal with the Russians yourselves, but I do hope you succeed. It's partly as well, I'm kind of conscious that we may end up fighting Russia if we attack Hungary or Wallachia next time, so in some ways I'd rather spend the war score, as in put the effort into take as much of Kazan as we can, rather than trying to take lots of Russia this time. Could always take lots of Russia next time. I have a suspicion, to be honest, that we're going to end up invading Russia deliberately. But we'll see. There's always Transoxania. It's like Nogai have got that province that... Oh yeah, that was the one that Uzbek gave us, which is good. Nogai are now a considerable size. I see we haven't been gaining money much. Nope, losing an enormous amount of money due to the war. There's probably not much war left, but I'll raise war taxes for it. I think it's decimated our finances, unfortunately, just at the time when we should have been claiming global trade. I probably should have paid more attention. My fault, never mind. Timurids want a royal marriage. I have no objections, particularly. We have 99% war score, but we should be able to get 100%, which has got to help. because I'm considering making some unreasonable demands if possible. Also thinking that despite being at war, we could probably mothball the forts now. I see no sign that Kazan even has an army anymore. I don't think they could even raise one if they tried. I can't make any calls, which is unfortunate. Who's this? Peace offer from Kazan. Don't need it. Don't want it particularly. I'd rather get 100% war score and then we'll make peace on our terms. So just because we might not have had it before, we've got a little alert here which says we've got mothballed forts while we're at war. Normally when you go to war with someone, all your forts become unmothballed. So it's just a warning basically saying we have mothballed forts, but we do know about it. Disloyal estates, yes, that's Umera. It's because of that random event. So yeah, nothing much we can do about that. Apparently the vassal is going to take that last piece of land for us. So I'll move these back to Kirim. Might as well speed up. Okay. So we now have 100% war score, so the suggested demands are the 3 provinces we originally asked for. We can't get them as an Ottoman vassal. So, okay. So we can have those, but we could also take additional. So we're looking at aggressive expansion again. If we do this... Okay, we can't actually go any further. That's as far as we can go. This is a lot of aggressive expansion, but it should put us in a good position to finish them off next time. We can make claims on nearly everything. So I'm actually going to go for that. Overextension is dangerously high. Yeah, we really need to call some provinces. Unfortunately, we have quite a bit of administrative power knocking around, so that should help. I'm also going to boost stability because that random event sent us down to 0. 0 is not absolutely terrible, but it is it's still not ideal. And I'm actually going to knock our army maintenance down so we can start getting positive money. So yeah, we could be looking at a bit of a wait before we can realistically attack Europe now. We got supply limit 54, so that's just about okay. Supply limit... Actually, that isn't okay, is it? 54? What am I thinking? Definitely not okay. So let's split that army. We'll move the part with no general away from the Hungarian border. So assuming we're going to have to stay put for a while at least, maybe I should split the armies up properly. So split you, and move you to that fort, and move you just behind them to Homs. This is going to be exactly the same, I think, except that we might have to deal with Crimean separatists before we would like to, thanks to Genoa not keeping them under control. Yeah, I think they're actually coming into our lands. And we're also preparing for some Shia zealots in one of the places that we have a missionary. Italian siege engineers. Gives us more military power. Might not do. I think I can afford the loss of prestige right now. Also realised that I went to attack another army with mine, albeit a much smaller rebel army, and I didn't have full military support. You have to watch this when you knock your army maintenance down. Very dangerous getting into an actual battle. Okay, I'm going to split this army up as well. There. So that should put us in fairly good stead for dealing with our upcoming rebellions. It's really just the Shia Zealots, Ardabil and Servant, so they're both very close to each other. So what I should probably do is move this over to Servant. I should unmothball the fort at Servant. So let's move both of them over. The problem we're going to have is could really do with increasing military support again. I see we're losing money again. Ooh, who's this? Trebizond. Oh no, that is very good news. That is very good news indeed. Okay, right, let's immediately increase army maintenance. And I think we have a claim on Kaffa. Trebizond at the moment has no allies, so we can go straight in to attack them. And I'm basically planning full annexation, I think. It's going to give us a more aggressive expansion again, but it is definitely worth it because we can finally clear this area. Do you know it was a tricky prospect to attack? Because of their... well, basically because they're a European nation and they had a bunch of European allies. Crimea. It's interesting, where's the Crimea? Oh, is that Crimea now? This is Trebizond, but that's Crimea. I had not realised that. Basically because they're almost exactly the same colour. Okay, well in that case, let me... well, I suggest that we annex you completely, to be honest. Sorry about that and everything, but... right, so, Crimea. So I probably don't have a claim on them. I don't. No casus belli. Let's ease the tax burden, or I'm probably going to regret it, and I definitely want a claim on them. However, we have also conquered Kaffa. Has that given us a claim on Crimea already? No, I don't think so. See dangerous overextensions back. Frustrated with one of the battles is dealing with that situation. Never mind, we'll go and deal with it. We need to make some cores. Can't afford to leave anything uncored while we've got those provinces that we can't core. So basically anxiously waiting for this spy network to hit 20, at which point we can conquer the last bit of land that Genoa used to have. Enjoining right and forbidding wrong. Once again, I don't particularly want the Sufis being oppressed. Thank you. Not how I like to run the Empire. So we are losing money again, but I'm going to just accept that while we gear up to taking Azov, the last Crimean outpost. Because I want the army ready to go. Okay. So fabricate claim. Declare war. I might actually pause it. Because I want to make sure we capture their army. And there we go. Lost morale of armies, of course. They love to wait until we have started a war in order to do that. So we're just going to annex them again. And then we can get down to recovering so we can attack the Europeans. It's one of them things when the opportunity suddenly appears out of nowhere, you've really got to seize it. Because when a nation's newly independent, or newly formed in some way, they tend to have no allies. And that is definitely the time to attack them. Okay, full annexation please. And there we go. So we no longer have any internal nations apart from Georgia, who's a vassal. And we've moved quite a bit towards the east now. Okay, so in theory, oh good. In theory we still have some Shia zealots, although they're only going to arise in Ardabil now. If I move my army there, they may not arise at all before the missionaries finish their work. Actually, I probably shouldn't. I suppose I can move the army there, but we should swap them, because I doubt if Ardabil can take both armies together. So the other thing we really need to do is mothball all forts, limit the amount of money we're losing, which is still an awful lot. I really could do with a second gold mine, I think, because we are expecting a rebellion here. Okay, what do we have? Well, we could maybe... Well, that's probably not going to be any use. I doubt anyone's going to be attacking that province. So may as well gain him, I guess. I'm just not sure we're going to want to employ him, is the problem. Well, we should... Oh no, that's probably no use either. No, I don't think we can afford to. I'm hoping once we finish coring all these provinces, things will get a little less expensive. But other than that, I could really do with coming up with some ideas and ways to make money. So, we shall see. I don't want to develop the gold mine any further. This is still only on 80%. Maybe we could actually bring down our army maintenance a bit. Actually, could we reduce the corruption? Okay, we're at least making some money now. Now that we've got all our forts mothballed. Are there any forts we should actually get rid of? Do we want forts on our island nations? Do we want both of these forts, given they're right next to each other? It's just Hungary is quite a dangerous nation. We'll see. We'll see. I'll give it some thought. No, you should definitely call it a day for this one in any case. This army needs splitting up. But yeah, that's pretty good. Taken all these lands which were annoyingly in the middle of our empire but belonged to somebody else. We've made Nogai even bigger. It's going to make them quite expensive to annex now, I'd imagine. But we've also, at risk of being very aggressive, have made massive inroads into Kazan, so we'll probably wipe them out next time if no one else wipes them out in the meantime. So yeah, I think next episode we'll probably be looking at another royal marriage from the Timurids. Actually, that's the point. Let's improve relations with the Timurids. We will probably be looking at maybe improving the army, modernising the navy again, and starting to cast our glances westward. I believe Hungary has now completely annexed Wallachia. Poland is re-emerging, so that's good. It looks like Mazovia is gone now. Unfortunately, it hasn't mostly been taken by Bohemia, so we might even be able to think about allying Poland. Maybe if we improve relations with Poland as well. Wouldn't hurt. So yeah, things are looking very different to how most games seem to go. But we shall see. But it's progress anyway, so gone a bit over, but I think it was worth it for the extra land grab there in the middle. So yeah, I'll see you next time.